This is Valmiki Ramayan, Season 1, Episode 16, Shivadhanush. In the previous episode, Vishwamitra, Ram, Lakshman and the other rishis reached Mithila. And we then heard Vishwamitra's story. The next morning in Mithila, Vishwamitra told Janak that Ram and Lakshman wished to see Janak's famous Shivadhanush, Shiva's bow. Drashtukamo Dhanushrestham. Janak said, "Fine, but first I should tell you the background of this Shivadhanush. This gem among weapons, Dhanuratnam, belonged to Lord Shiva himself. This has been with my family for generations, since the time of my ancestor King Devarat. I have a daughter, Sita. I found her while clearing and ploughing land one day. She is Ayonija, which by the way means not born through womb, or in other words, without a mother, an orphan. There have been many suitors for my dear daughter, but I would like to give her hand in marriage to only the very greatest among warriors, the most powerful and the most valorous." The kings who sought her then asked, "How do you objectively decide who is the most valorous?" And so I told them, the test is to lift, string and operate this Shivadhanush. Many tried, but all failed. And then, Atmanam avadhutam te vidnyaya nrupapungavah roshena mahatavishtaah pidayan mithilam purim. They felt I had humiliated them. Their valor had been questioned. Virya sandehamagatah. Boiling with rage, they ganged up and attacked Mithila. The siege lasted 1 year, but finally I was able to repel and defeat them. This is the story of the Shivadhanush. I will now show it to Ram and Lakshman. Clearly, Janak the scholar was no pushover even in battle. Also, he must have had mixed feelings about this show and tell for the Shivadhanush. While he was keen to find the best suitor for Sita, he was also wary of unsuccessful candidates feeling humiliated and aggrieved. Upon Janak's orders, with great effort, his men then wheeled in the Shivadhanush that was kept in a box with 8 wheels. Manjusha Mashta Chakram. Ram opened the box, and then Leelaya Sadhanur Madhye Jagrah. He held the bow in the middle and lifted it with ease. Aropayat Sadharmatma Salilameva Tadhanuh, and fixed the string on the bow as if it were mere play. He pulled the string up to his ear to test its operation. And no sooner had he done that, the great bow broke into 2 with a thunderous noise. Janak exclaimed, "What an extraordinary display of strength and technique! Sita is dearer to me than my own life. Pranair Bahumata. I wish to give her hand in marriage to Ram."
But what about this Swayamvar? I thought Ram was the last participant in the competition to lift and string the Shivadhanush, and Sita was standing on the side with a garland in hand.
Well, that is not how Valmiki has reported the events. Many kings had had a go at the Shivadhanush before, but as per Valmiki, this was not exactly a contest held in a stadium. Also, many Rakshasas had tried, but there is no specific mention of Ravan having tried and failed. But I do think that if Ramayan is being staged, depiction of these events as a Swayamvar adds a lot of dramatic intensity. And if you show Ravan failing, or even falling while attempting this test, it is sure to get some laughs from the audience. Now, as per the practice of those times, messengers were sent to Ayodhya to invite Dashrath to Mithila. After 3 night halts along the way, they entered the city of Ayodhya. Remember, Dashrath had sent off Ram and Lakshman on a most dangerous mission to fight the Rakshasas many days ago. He was delighted upon hearing that Ram and Lakshman were well, and the story of Ram's exploit with the Shivadhanush. Dashrath came to Mithila with a large army, a Chaturangini Sena, and his closest advisors, including Vasishtha. He also brought with him great gifts of precious stones. And then in Mithila, not only was Ram and Sita's marriage finalized, but also Lakshman's marriage to Sita's sister Urmila, and Bharat and Shatrughna's marriage to Sita's cousins Mandavi and Shrutakirti. Interestingly, when Vasishtha was introducing Ram's dynasty to Janak, he gave a full and complete list of all kings from the founder Ikshvaku right up to Dashrath. 34 kings, including Sagar at number 15, Bhagirath at number 19, and King Raghu at 21. Remember, Ram is also called Raghuvanshi, belonging to Raghu's dynasty. In turn, Janak introduced their side, starting from the founder of the dynasty Nimi all the way to Janak at number 23. Nimi's son was Mithi, after whom it appears the city of Mithila was named. Mithi's successor was the first Janak. Prathamo Janako Nama Janakadapyudavasuhu. He was the first Janak in our family. His son was Udavasu. After Udavasu came Nandivardhan, Suketu, and then Devarat, the very Devarat who obtained Shiva's bow. Think about it. History of 23 kings on one side and an astounding 34 names on the other side. In 34 generations, we are talking of about 800 years or more. Names of every single king over 8 centuries. If this is not history, then what is? Iti ha asa. That is how it happened.